Imagine a colossal ship, creaking under torrents of rain that drowned the earth in biblical furies, saving just one family and every creature from total annihilation. But hold on, what if Noah's Ark wasn't God's wrath at all? What if it hid a forbidden truth about alien gods tampering with our DNA, ancient cataclysms that reset humanity, and a real artifact buried today that could shatter modern science? If you've ever wondered why flood stories haunt every culture, this revelation will blow your mind. Don't click away, because the evidence might change how you see your own origins forever. Welcome to Fabelon Stories, your gateway to the shadowed corners of ancient civilizations, where forbidden history whispers truths about gods, lost knowledge, and the mysteries of where we really came from. Today, we're unraveling the enigma of Noah's Ark, not as a Sunday school fable, but as a thread pulling at the fabric of our forgotten past. Let's dive in. Picture a time when the skies turned black, not with clouds, but with an unrelenting fury that seemed to pour from the heavens themselves. Waters rose from the depths, erasing cities, mountains, and memories in a single, catastrophic deluge. This is the story we've all heard. Noah, the righteous man warned by a higher power, building an ark to save life from extinction. But let's pause here. Why Noah? Why a flood? And why does this tale echo across cultures like a half-remembered dream? In the ancient texts, it's described as a vessel of gopher wood, sealed with pitch, 3 stories high, stretching longer than a football field. Noah gathers pairs of animals, his family, and waits as the world drowns. 40 days of rain, a year adrift, then a dove returns with an olive branch, signs of renewal. Simple, right? But here's where it gets intriguing. What if this wasn't just one man's obedience to a god? What if it was a survival blueprint passed down from beings who walked among us before history began? Think about it. Flood myths aren't unique to the Bible. They're scattered like fragments of a shattered mirror across the globe. In India, Manu is saved by a fish avatar of Vishnu, building a boat to ride out the waters. The Greeks whisper of Deucalion and Pyrrha, warned by Prometheus to craft an ark against Zeus's wrath. Even the Mayans spoke of a great flood that reset the ages. Coincidence? Or echoes of a single, planet-shaking event? But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we chase those connections, let's linger on the ark itself. Descriptions paint it as an engineering marvel, 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, 45 feet high. Could ancient hands really build such a thing without modern tools? Skeptics say no, calling it myth. Believers point to faith. But what if there's a middle ground, a hidden technology whispered by forgotten gods? Hold that thought. We'll circle back to it when we explore the Ark's possible blueprints from the stars, as the waters recede in the story. Noah's Ark comes to rest on the mountains of Ararat. That's in modern-day Turkey, a rugged landscape of snow-capped peaks and ancient whispers. Expeditions have scoured those slopes for centuries, drawn by tales of petrified wood and anomalous shapes buried in ice. But every time someone claims a sighting, it's dismissed as illusion or hoax. Why the resistance? Is it science protecting its turf, or something deeper, a gatekeeping of knowledge that could upend our understanding of human origins? What if Noah wasn't the first to hear this warning? Later, we'll uncover how this flood ties into the Sumerian kings who ruled for impossible lifespans, hinting at interference from beyond our world. For now, let's immerse ourselves in the mystery. Imagine standing on Ararat's flanks, wind howling like the ghosts of the drowned. Locals there still tell stories of a great ship frozen in time, visible only in certain melts. In 1959, a Turkish army captain photographed what looked like a boat-shaped formation from the air. Measurements matched the biblical ark almost perfectly. Coincidence again, or a clue left for those bold enough to seek it? But as we dig deeper, questions multiply. Was the flood global or local? Science says a Mesopotamian river burst could explain it, a massive inundation around 2900 BC, flooding the Black Sea or the Persian Gulf. Yet ancient accounts describe the whole earth submerged. How do we reconcile that? Perhaps by looking not at water, but at what the water hid, civilizations older than we dare admit, wiped clean to make way for us. Now, let's drift back further, to the cradle of civilization itself, Mesopotamia. Here, in the sun-baked lands between the Tigris and Euphrates, stories older than the Bible were etched into clay tablets. The Epic of Gilgamesh, unearthed in the ruins of Nineveh, tells of Utnapishtim, a man much like Noah, commanded by the god Ea to build a boat against a coming flood. Animals, family, survival. The parallels are uncanny, but Gilgamesh adds twists. Gods regretting their creation of noisy humans, deciding to silence them with water. Why the noise? What were humans doing that annoyed the divine? In these tales, gods walk the earth, mingling with mortals, sharing knowledge. Enki, the Sumerian god of wisdom, warns Utnapishtim in a dream. Much like the biblical God speaks to Noah. But Enki isn't alone. He is part of a pantheon, the Anunnaki beings from the heavens who, some say, engineered humanity itself. Here's where it gets shadowy. Forbidden history suggests the Anunnaki weren't metaphors but visitors from another world, mining Earth for gold, creating humans as laborers through genetic tinkering. Sound far-fetched. Ancient texts describe them descending in fiery chariots, wielding powers beyond mortal ken. And the flood, not divine wrath, but a necessary reset when humans grew too numerous, too rebellious. Connect the dots. Noah's Ark as a lifeboat in an extraterrestrial cull. But evidence? Look to the Sumerian king list, a tablet listing ruler from before the flood, with reigns spanning thousands of years. Ararat's kings, 28,800 years each. Impossible for humans, unless they were something more, hybrids of gods and men. But if the Anunnaki orchestrated the flood, why save a select few? We'll explore that later, when we link it to the hidden bloodlines that may still walk among us today. For now, consider the Ark's design. In Gilgamesh, it's a cube, stable, but not seaworthy. The Bible's version is elongated, like a barge. Yet both emphasize waterproofing with pitch, a detail hinting at real-world practicality. Archaeologists have found bitumen-sealed boats in Mesopotamian digs, proving ancients knew how to float through chaos. But let's heighten the mystery. What if the Ark wasn't wood at all? Some interpretations of gopher would suggest a mistranslation, perhaps reeded or even laminated material, implying advanced construction. And the dimensions, they follow a 6:1 ratio, eerily similar to modern shipbuilding for stability. Coincidence, or inherited knowledge from starfaring teachers? As we ponder this, visions of Ararat return. In 2010, a team of explorers claimed to find wooden compartments at 13,000 feet, carbon dated to 4,800 years ago, right around the flood's timeline. Samples showed marine life residue, as if the wood had been submerged. Official science scoffed, citing contamination. But why the rush to debunk? Is it fear of validating ancient texts, or protecting a larger secret about our origins? The mountains of Ararat loom like silent sentinels, cradling secrets in their icy embrace. For centuries, pilgrims and adventurers have trekked its slopes, driven by whispers of the Ark's resting place. In the 1800s, British explorer James Bryce claimed to see a massive timber protruding from a glacier. He chipped off a piece wood, preserved as if time stood still. Fast forward to the Cold War era. CIA spy planes over Turkey captured images of an anomaly on Ararat, a rectangular shape, 450 feet long, buried under snow. Declassified files hint at us interest, but details vanish into classified voids. Why? Geopolitical games, or something more profound? Evidence of a pre-flood civilization that defies Darwinian time. Modern tech adds fuel. Satellite imagery from the 1990s showed the Ararat anomaly, a formation matching the Ark specs. Ground-penetrating radar in 2006 detected subsurface chambers, yet expeditions face barriers, permits denied, weather turning hostile as if the mountain guards its own. Locals speak of curses, of searchers vanishing in avalanches. But let's weave in the global tapestry. In China, the newer myth tells of a goddess patching the sky after a flood, saving humanity in a gourd arclight in function. Australian Aboriginal Dreamtime stories describe a great rainbow serpent unleashing waters that reshape the land. Native American tribes recount canoes atop mountains post-deluge. If these are memories of the same event, what caused it? Science offers clues. Around 5,600 BCE, the Mediterranean breached into the Black Sea, flooding vast areas in days. Or the Younger Dryas, 12,800 years ago, a sudden ice age reversal. Melting glaciers, raising seas by hundreds of feet. Megafauna vanished, cultures collapsed. Was this the flood? And if so, who warned the survivors? What if the gods weren't benevolent saviors but manipulators with their own agenda? Hold on, we'll uncover that when we tie the Ark to the forbidden knowledge of Atlantis and its downfall. For the moment, envision Noah or Utnapishtim or Manu as a chosen one, privy to divine secrets. Post-flood, he plants a vineyard, discovers wine, and lives to 950 years. Longevity again, echoing Sumerian kings. Genetic engineering, elixir from the gods. The Ark, then, isn't just a boat, but a repository of knowledge, carrying seeds of civilization through the apocalypse. Deeper into the veil, the gods emerge not as ethereal beings, but tangible forces shaping humanity. In Enochian texts, forbidden books, hinting at watchers from heaven, angels descend, teaching metallurgy, astrology, cosmetics. They mate with humans, birthing giants. Then comes the flood, to cleanse this hybrid mess. But why? If gods created us, why destroy? Perhaps rebellion. The Book of Enoch describes Azazel and his kin revealing forbidden arts, leading to corruption. God floods the world, but spares Noah, pure in generations, untainted by angelic blood. Twisted further, what if the Nephilim survived? Post-flood tales speak of giants in Canaan, battled by Israelites. Goliath, Og of Bashan, remnants of a pre-deluge race. And the Ark, perhaps it carried not just animals, but genetic samples. A floating gene bank to restart life under controlled terms. Connect to human origins. Mitochondrial DNA traces all humans to a mitochondrial Eve around 150,000 years ago, but bottlenecks suggest near-extinction events, like a flood reducing us to a handful. Noah's family as the reboot, yet anomalies persist. Elongated skulls in Paracas, Peru, not human, with unknown DNA. Megalithic sites like Göbekli Tepe, 12,000 years old, buried deliberately post-construction. Was it hidden from the flood, or built by survivors? If survivors carried hidden knowledge, where did it go? We'll close the circle soon, linking back to modern suppressions and the ultimate mystery of why this history remains forbidden. Expeditions continue. In 2023, drones mapped Ararat's anomaly anew, revealing layered structures. Wood samples test positive for ancient resins, but media silence follows. Why bury the finds? Perhaps because confirming the Ark validates gods or aliens meddling in our past, shattering materialist views. As our journey nears its end, threads converge: a global flood, divine interventions, hidden arks on sacred mountains, but resolution, that's the illusion. For every answer, a deeper question lurks. We've seen echoes in myths, anomalies on peaks, whispers of Anunnaki engineers, Noah's Ark as vessel of salvation or control, a reset button for an experiment gone awry. Yet the largest mystery remains. If such cataclysms happened before, will they again? Ancient prophecies warn of cycles, floods, fires, resets, our origins tied to stars, gods as visitors seeding life, then pruning it. What if the Ark's true legacy is a warning, etched in our collective unconscious? A reminder that knowledge is power, but forbidden knowledge is dangerous. As Fabelon stories peels back layers, remember, history isn't written by victors, but by those who survive the deluge. And so, we end not with closure, but an open door to the void. If Noah's Ark holds the key to our beginnings, what greater secret does it guard about our end? Ponder that, seekers. Until next time.